Despite the size of the project we had of painting the walls, we had another opportunity every night where we got to meet in the church with the congregation, and our young adult team got to stand in front of the congregation and share their testimony, and have an interpreter take their testimony as they were sharing these things, sometimes for the first time in their life, in front of a group, and have it translated into Spanish so that these people could hear what God's been doing to these young adults.
On the second day of the Peru trip, after we'd gotten like 5 hours of sleep, after close to 24 hours of travel before that, we ended up going to a restaurant, eating lunch together, and that's when Pastor Suarez was sharing that he wanted us each to share our testimonies. I was kind of surprised when he pointed at me and said, "You first." Now, I'm not anyone special. I think the thing that stuck out most to me about that moment is the fact that he, who's someone that's heard my story before, like he looked at me and he's seen the work that God's done in my life and heard about it, and he considers it to be something worth sharing.
At 23, I had no idea that I was going to be sharing my testimony in the way that I did. I kind of had an idea that we were told to prepare them, but honestly, I was hoping that I wouldn't get chosen to speak in front of the congregation. And then I was, the first night.
It was really hard because I didn't realize how much insecurities towards public speaking I had. And even writing out my story, I was constantly going back and re-editing and constantly rethinking over it.
And that was my first time writing out my testimony and the details that I had. And so being able to share that in front of people, it was a really beautiful reminder of like how much God had freed me from.
And so that night that I went in front of the church, felt like God wanted me to share like my story of just finding Him.
God kind of led me in what I needed to share. I felt like every sentence that I spoke, He immediately had me another one to speak next.
I'm grateful that God has helped me and shaped me into who I'm truly made to be. And all the stuff that happened and molded me before I knew God, God took that garbage and made me a daughter, an heir to a kingdom of righteousness. And then sharing my testimony before the whole congregation of Bethel, which is their church and where they do a lot of their church ministry, I felt led to emphasize that I'm not really anybody special. And I might be labeled as missionary, and I might be a white girl from America, but everybody, with no exemption, has this same opportunity to know God like I do.
Looking back, I can see how God used sharing like my testimony in Peru to give me a greater faith and trust in Him to help me in the work I'm doing here in America, especially when it comes to doing hard things. Like I trust He'll help me through it now.